Okay, so how are you going to get from there to there?
I think it's south and west.
Okay, try it. Like, take your finger. Now follow my finger with me. West. Did we get to our destination?
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's a real challenge to educators today to figure out how do you use your available resources so that every child succeeds. Before we started our work, we had what other schools had. There would be a teacher in a classroom, they would teach a curriculum, and if a student needed extra help, out the door they went, down the hallway they went, and somebody else pulled out all the tricks that they knew and tried to teach that child. So for us, it was really flipping that whole model upside down and saying, these are the resources we have available to us. How do we get everybody working together to design a system that is more seamless for students?
This system would not work without teacher collaboration.
Every decision we make, we have to make as a team.
We can problem solve together and look at data together and make decisions about what kids need.
If we're going to work collectively to ensure the success of every child, then we had to get on the same page about what we were teaching. So for us, it was an early lesson in identifying a core curriculum in math and reading that was the same no matter who the teacher was.
Now to get us started.
So every single student will receive universal instruction, core instruction, also known as Tier 1.
Efficient and helpful.
Some kids will need supplemental instruction. They'll need a little bit more than core. So you'll hear that referred to as Tier 2. And then some kids may need more intensive intervention, and so you'll hear that referred to as Tier 3.
So what did it tell you to do? How are you going to figure it out?
Probably go.
Teachers at the very beginning of the block are teaching core instruction to their core 22 students. And then they would move into a time that we call autonomous time, where the students will be more self-directed in their learning.
Colombian order. The break.
So some teachers may pull Tier 2 at that time. You also may see Tier 3 being pulled at that time in a very small room where kids can really focus.
So this book is about the Constitution. And the reason
it's pretty awesome here. My three favorite things are math, writing, and reading.
It's kind of cool, so you don't aren't just with one teacher and you get to kind of move rooms and move teachers.
When you go down with Mr. Kirby and your small group, then it really stretches your brain in a really good way.
Okay. Go for it.
So teachers organize themselves in a variety of different ways, and it depends on teacher strengths and student needs.
Brushing away the old vine.
We may need a specific group just on predicting, and you don't have 5 kids who need predicting and you're 22. You have a whole bunch of them across the learning community. So it's really important that the tiers are connected. Your core instruction could be inferring. If they're receiving Tier 1 with me and Tier 2 with you and Tier 3 with someone else, we all are really teaching inferring. We just may be teaching it with different materials.
So you gotta make sure you read the answer.
That requires a lot of trust amongst teachers, and that also requires teachers to communicate. They meet every Wednesday in a learning community, and they definitely check in with each other about instruction.
They have almost all of their packet already filled out, and then there's some groups of kids that don't have anything filled out.
We have the same problems with when they come to us, they have to finish up the packet. So if we try to stick to what that core part is, and then
we meet as a student success team. That team is made up of myself, the learning community leader, all of the core teachers, administrators, guidance counselors, speech and language pathologists.
All of those stakeholders will sit around the table together, take a look at all the data, have deep conversations about the effectiveness of the core instruction, and also monitor the progress of the Tier 2 groups and the Tier 3, and then problem solve together to figure out the ways in which they might make adjustments. And then once they make those major adjustments, then they'll come back together once a month to make sure progress is being made.
3% of the time. And then reading,
which was mini lesson 45% of the time, and then 83% of the time. And then he also had some really other good details.
Maybe her goal sheet is almost like twice as long, so she has more space like on Monday. And right before you go into tier 2, okay, like what are the specific things you're gonna do?
I think that we're meeting the students' needs better.
The growth that we see in our students is phenomenal. We've had kids go from 8th percentile to 30th, 40th percentile, and sometimes higher.
My work is to make sure that all kids get what they need. We have lots of different types of learners, and everybody deserves to have instruction that meets their needs.
That was beautiful.